Good morning, everybody. It is Dr. Vibe, and there he is with his brand shirt on today. Okay, good morning. It's Dr. Vibe here, producer of the award-winning The Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that collaboration over 2022 and 2021. Each one of those years reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, Ryan Knight.
Good day. Always good to see you, brother. For those that, and thank you for mentioning our brand spanking new shirts. We got our ACBN shirts in the house. So for those that don't know who ACBN is, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in, then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And today, this evening, we actually have our Durham office opening. So a special invite will be sent to you, Dr. Vibe. It's, not a big office, so space is limited. But we're going to be having an office in Ajax. So that'll be Mississauga, Brampton, Ajax, and Hamilton, that ACBN has offices that business owners can actually meet somebody and get consulting for their business.
Well, congratulations on that. But before we go any further, we want to say that this episode of The Morning Vibe is brought to you by the Macmillan Group at 905 in Canada, 905-813-4354, US 904-586-5636, and they have been doing it for many, many years. And this episode is actually sponsored by them. And they've been providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999. Buying, refinancing, or investing, the Macmillan Group should be your first choice in helping with one of the most significant decisions in your life. So always thank you for their continuous support. We love them. We appreciate them. And also we're going to put up here, there is all their deets. Canadian number, US number. They even have a toll-free number, website, and email address. So there we go. So you have a new office open today. Congratulations. How much planning took to get that happening?
I mean, again, it's not going to be a big gala. So didn't have to spend too much time. I tell you, I was gonna do the hot dog gala for our launch party, but no, we kept it simple. So shout out to our Durham representatives, so Sandra and Jamal. They are going to be supporting us with kind of running the ACBN office in Durham. And again, reaching out to entrepreneurs. I was able to go to, the Whitby Chamber of Commerce. They had a Black History Month. So got to meet some of the boards of trades and the chambers that exist in the Durham area. So hopefully they'll be able to make it. But yeah, a new journey for ACBN on the east side.
Well, I from my lens, it was long overdue, because people may or may not know the heaviest concentration of Black Canadians population-wise is in the Durham region. That's the heaviest in all of Canada. Right. That is the heaviest concentration of Black Canadians. So it only makes logical sense to have an office there where they are, where the people are.
It makes sense. Yes, yes.
So that's great. So what will be the business hours of the new office?
So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and between about 9 and 5.
Cool, cool. And what services will be provided there?
The main one is because typically when people fill out our business needs assessment online, that triggers a phone call with one of our advisors, and then we book a Zoom meeting. So this will people will have the option to come and see us in person. And since we're gonna have actual office hours, if they want to just drop by, again, probably best to call first just in case, so you don't waste your time coming out in case I'm on the road. But
Never. You?
people
You?
will be able to
When are you on the
drop
road?
in.
When are
Yes.
you on the road? Come on now. When are you on the that's an exaggeration. You on the road? Really? No,
Oh,
joking aside,
yes.
congratulations on what was up for the weekend.
So speaking of being on the road, I was venturing downtown Toronto
You brave.
because the oh my gosh, the end of Black Mental Health Week, I guess, was yesterday, and there was a big
Yes.
event, actually, event planned by Jamal and Sandra from Empro Graphics. So Tropicana, Taibu, Delta Family Resource Center, and of course,
Oh.
City of Toronto. They're putting
Oh.
on uh, kind of a ending closing ceremonies to Black Mental Health Week, and any week that gets to start with hearing Randall Ajayi's one of his poems. If for those that don't know who Randall is, he's the first Ontario poet laureate, and that getting to hear him perform always makes my week, makes my month. So he was there performing. Also, Karen Carrington, she was talking about her mental health struggles, and hearing her story and her resilience is really inspiring. So shout out to Karen, and thanks for sharing.
Well, just continuing on the path or where we're talking about mental health, there is actually a big conference.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of this conference, but I'm going to just share the screen right now. It's ironic. Nice segue. You didn't even know you were going to be segueing into this. This is good. Actually, there is
Okay, nice.
a big mental health conference happening. Let me put up on screen. Yeah,
Okay, I
March
did not
20,
see this.
yeah, 22nd to 24th, National Conference on Black Mental Health and Wellness. Act now.
Yeah, so who's putting this one on?
This is being put on by Taibu and
Yeah,
maybe some other organization, but Taibu is the lead on this. And yeah, conference ground that will Black leaders, elders, youth, academics, advocates, and mental health professionals from across Canada to address the multifaceted mental health issues affecting Black communities. The conference will be an opportunity for attendees to share their knowledge and expertise, learn, connect, and advocate for Black mental health and wellness.
gotcha.
Okay, so this is happening. Yeah, so keynote speakers, Dr. Natisha Masakwai, Dr. Lewis Gordon, Akwatu Kente, gives me a Nia Ivodel, and it's happening at the Sheridan Park Hotel. I believe that's in Toronto, just Highway 7 and Highway 404.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
so that is happening. And I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It looks like it's a whole week event,
Whew. Oh,
Monday to
wow.
Friday.
That's
So
excellent.
I'll see if I can reach out to Taibu to see if we can get a representative to talk about the event.
Yeah, and even just to talk about Taibu in general, because I think if they're not the only, they're one of the few Black focused health centers that are in the GTA, maybe in Ontario, but definitely to learn more about what the services that they offer to the community would be great.
So good morning to family, Fitness IQ Cam. Good morning, gentlemen, everyone. How was your conversation with Ray McMillan? I saw your
Ah,
IG Live
yes.
thanking Ray McMillan for being on your program. So I'm glad to hear that happened. I know that Ray is always just dropping knowledge bombs and always dressed proper, as I
Right.
like to say with Ray. So yeah, that's some
Um,
of the stuff. So that was good. Anything else you got done over the weekend?
No, shout out to my nephew. He has taken the baton. He runs track. So I used to run track back in high school. So seeing, him running, he does the 200 and 400. That was a bit of a stretch for Uncle. I was more just the 100 and high jumping, long jump. But yeah, it was good to see. I got some video footage of him. So
Nice.
it was a nice family get to watch the nephew run.
Where was he running at?
A place that I had never been before. So in Scarborough, there's a community center called Variety Village.
Yes, know it. Right down where Birchmount Stadium is.
And
Birchmount and Danforth area.
You don't realize how big Scarborough is. Like, I always think of Scarborough, Malvern area, kind of off the 401.
No, big. Yes, really... Variety Village has been around for a long time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had never been to the building. So great facility, wonderful track area. I believe they have an ice rink, exercise. Nice. It was really quite interesting. And maybe when I hear the Black community talking about community centers, that would be one maybe to model. So it was pretty cool.
So Fitness IQ says it was lovely. She had to dress up herself.
Okay.
She goes, many gems and enjoyed Raymond's story. Very nice. Well, I'm gonna have to make sure I catch the replay of that. That sounds like it was anytime Raymond speaks, I listen. So he's like that all that they had on TV when E.F. Hutton speaks. I listened. Oh, that's going back a bit, by the way. So that was good. So, you know what? We've been teasing wanting to chat about a conversation topic for a long time. I think we're going to get some time to chat about today. And just ironically, we mentioned Ray McMillan. He will be with us this Friday doing his monthly visit to us. So just an FYI for those who appreciate and those who haven't, you should come by when Ray McMillan comes by on the third Friday of each month. So he will be there with us this Friday. So let's talk about this. We've teased about it many times. Chat GPT may be coming for your jobs. Here are 10 roles that AI is mostly to replace. So first things first, Ron, before we go any further, how much are you using AI?
So I am trying to immerse myself in AI and see how it can be a tool that amplifies what I do. There are so many AI tools. I feel like Chat GPT is the thing that really made it accessible to the masses. So now people are building on top of it. People are building their own platforms. There are at least 50 that I've seen AI infused technology that people could use even for their business, because that's where I'm trying to see how it can support my business. Somebody sent me one that is an actual WhatsApp tool. So you text it and it's like Chat GPT. It is phenomenal. So I'm trying to use Chat GPT as much as I can. But how about you? How much have you dove into the AI verse?
I use it periodically. I don't use it a lot because, again, most of the content that I generate, AI can't generate because it's human beings. So but it does help for research. And for me, it's an idea creator. It's not the idea period, but it will generate ideas. Like for me, a lot of times it's just getting started for the idea to generate. It's just the getting start point. So Chat GPT and other AI tools give me that kickstart when it comes to idea development. And periodically, if I have a conversation to host and I don't know a lot about the subject, I will go into an AI and get some background on so I can just make sure I flow and have some awareness of the topic that's being discussed. So I at least have some understanding but I don't copy and paste. No.
And that's where people will get called out, because when it creates content, it's very AI-ish. So if you don't edit it and like put your own language on or your own creativity into it, I don't think it'll pass. But it's interesting that you use it to kickstart your ideas. I actually use it when I get stuck. So I'll be working and then it's like, like the ideas aren't flowing. I can kind of put my question in there and then it resparks and kind of helps me finish a thought. So it's interesting how you use it.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes too, if I get stuck, yeah, I will go for it also. But let's take a look at this article from Business Insider, February
I'm
2nd. A
really
little
curious.
so let's see the first thing. First thing, tech jobs, coders, computer programmers, software engineers, and data analysts. Oh
Wow.
boy. And we're using ChatGPT as an example. There's many out there, but I know that you can get code written in ChatGPT.
Yeah, because that's where I wonder how many people it would replace. Because when it writes the code, you still need somebody to actually check it. I guess maybe it won't take as many people to check the code now, because typically that whole development cycle was 2 to 10 people, hours and hours of like actually typing in the code. Now instead of 10 people, it might only be 2 people, because you put in the question, it spits out the code, and 2 people just edit it, and it's off to the races. So I could definitely see how that'll reduce workforces.
Yeah, so just reading a little bit from this article here, coding and computer programming are in-demand skills, but it's possible that Chat GPT and similar AI tools may fill in some of the gaps in the near future. Tech jobs such as software engineers, web developers, computer programmers, coders, and data scientists are pretty amenable to AI technologies, quote, discipline displacing more of their work, unquote. That's because Chat GPT is as good as crunching numbers with relative accuracy. Wow.
You see,
Coders.
that is crazy.
Okay, so actually, and I don't know if I've mentioned it on the platform before, but what infamous billionaire, from what I understand, he was part of the initial development of Chat GPT. And I say infamous billionaire. Let's
Right.
see. Let's see if you can. Do you know who I'm talking about, Ryan?
Well, I know Elon Musk
There you
got
go.
into
Exactly.
Open AI, which
Open AI, which
is
is
the one
the
that created
developer.
ChatGPT, and it's, I guess, the version 3. And he had said that he bought into it because he wanted to keep an eye on, I guess, the evolution of AI and where it might go to save us from the Terminator 2 scenario. But that debate is still out there. If can AI become something that is detrimental to society when it gets too smart?
Got it.
Boy, it's definitely on its way. So what I've
On its
heard
way. It's
is,
here. I don't
but
think it's
it's
on
gone
its way. It's
from
here.
like the brain computing capacity of like a housefly up to a squirrel. So, and that jump maybe within the last 20 years. So the next 20 years, will it surpass humans? And when it does, what's their agenda? Because now we might become the servants to, oh man. And I guess we'll only know when we're there, right? Like, because you can't predict. Yeah, it could be quite interesting.
Yeah. So here's a quote here. Quote, in terms of jobs, I think it's primarily an enhancer than full replacement of jobs. So, quote, coding and programming is a good example of that. It can actually write code quite well. All right. Next up. Now, this is one hitting home,
Okay.
media
Yes.
jobs. So it's saying media jobs, advertising, content creation, technical writing, and journalism. So it's saying media jobs across the board, including those in advertising, tech writing, journalism, and any role that involves content creation may be affected by ChatGPT and similar forms of AI. That's because AI is able to read, write, and understand text-based data as well. Quote, this person said, analyzing, interpreting vast amounts of language-based data and information is a skill that you expect generative AI technologies to ramp up on. So here's an interesting thing. So economist Paul Krugman said in a New York Times op-ed that ChatGPT may be able to do tasks like reporting and writing, quote, more efficiently than humans.
I 100% agree and can see that. And because newspaper writing, that style is kind of like monotone computer ish. So they could get away with like just giving, hey, this story is happening, give me a 500 word article, and you post that into the Toronto Sun, and people just want the information. So being creative in newspaper writing, I don't think is as prevalent as in advertising. So I could see it reducing workforces in the writing rooms and making these newspaper outlets way more efficient. You can translate to new languages, so maybe these newspapers should be thinking of expanding into other countries to say like, hey, news in China, news for China from Canada, because maybe people that live there now used to live here and still want to know what's going on. Chat or an AI can translate to almost, I think, 150 languages now. Your newspaper can expand wherever you want it to go.
Well, here's the interesting part of this article. The media industry is already beginning to experiment with AI generated content. Tech news site CNET, which has been around for a long time, used an AI tool similar to ChatGPT to write dozens of articles, though the publisher had to issue a number of corrections. And BuzzFeed announced it will use tech from the ChatGPT maker to generate new forms of content.
See,
So
well, that's where they can't just post whatever the AI writes, and that's where, like, because that's where you're gonna get into trouble with having to correct it. Because if it's writing 1,000 word article, in there can be elements that are incorrect, and if nobody is really fact checking, you're just gonna set yourself up for problems, and then you won't be able to use the AI because nobody will trust your website anymore.
well, and interesting. Again, last I checked, I'm a content creator, and like I said, periodically I will use it for what I need, but I don't rely on it. And even if I get stuff that I need, I put my vibe on it, for lack of a better word. But it definitely, when it comes to content creation, it's going to have an impact. The challenge will be, or the will be, not the challenge, will be how much do people just use it for their sole source?
Absolutely.
So that is what we're going to get in the media. And actually, people are watching live. How much are you using Chat GPT or any AI right now?
Right.
Like it's already somewhat in the, it's been silently part of our lives for a long time. But again, now the ramp up is happening, not beginning, it is happening, and how much, actually, if you're an entrepreneur, question out there, how much are you planning to use it? Are you planning to use it? Are you intimidated by it? It's interesting, over the last few weeks I've seen a number of people offering courses, catch my 1 hour seminar on how to use Chat GPT.
Right. And we were going to do actually a full week boot camp about implementing AI into your business to help with actual operations. So look out for that, because I'm finding it, and it's very, it's a surreal feeling when you do things in less time, because you can actually relax a little, like, and I'll give you an example. So I had to write our content calendar to promote my business. Like, we do the grant info sessions, and typically that would be like a 2-day process trying to figure out what to write and the schedule. And I did it in like 2 hours. So now that extra day and a half, instead of just filling it with more work, I was able to just breathe a little bit. And then I felt like, oh, but I need to be doing something else. It's like you always feel like you should be working, like that hustle mentality. But AI gives you a lot of your time back. So I would challenge people to use it to actually rest instead of just uh, grinding all the time. Use this to amplify your life by claiming back some of your time. I know it's given me a lot more breathing room, and I appreciate it.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because when I get the opportunity to help entrepreneurs, I always ask this question: what do you want more money or more time? And more
Okay.
say they want time.
Yes.
So when you use AI properly, if you use it properly, it's going to get you your time back.
Big
It's going to
time.
get your time back. So good morning, Tim Frey. How we doing this morning?
Good.
FitNet's IQ Camp says I'm going to use it a little bit more this week. Well, tell us how it works for you. And then Ray says, "Good morning, Vibe and Ryan. When AI starts to pump my gas on those freezing days, then I'll do the happy dance."
Listen, full serve gas stations, man. There's still a couple around, but yeah, those are like
Okay, where's one that you know of?
one is in Brampton at just by Church and Queen. So if people know where the Dairy Queen is, there's a full serve gas station there, and it's a weird name. It's like an off brand name, so I don't remember the name, but yes, right there.
So, we're going to put it out there to the Morning Vibe family. If you see a full service gas station, take a picture, or, when you come on with us in the
Please
morning
do.
on Monday and Friday mornings, tell us where there is one. If there's one in the GTA, maybe that'll be one of our crusades in the futures. Visit a full service gas station. That
Yes,
would be
Ray is asking.
that'd be, oh, Fitness IQ Camp says there's one in Pickering. Where in Pickering?
Ooh,
Where in
hey,
Pickering?
that's close.
Where in Pickering? So let's look at the next sign. Legal industry jobs, paralegals and legal assistants.
Because imagine, what is articling? Articling is literally just digging through past cases, making summaries, providing that report to the lawyer that's gonna, oh, what do they call it? Not challenge the case, but make the case or go to trial. Whew. I heard that there was a AI robot that was going to defend defend a client in court, and I didn't see how that went, but it's slowly. Actually, I think this is something that'll be exponentially removing workers.
Well, I know people that when it comes to lawyers, they can't stand them or they love them. This is
Well,
like,
yeah, depending
yeah,
depending how you use them.
exactly. Like, and especially the amount they charge.
Oh yes. But
That
this was a big piece of the charge because it takes so much time to gather
administration,
information,
yeah,
right?
administration time. Yep.
And you have to pay those people because it's
Oh
usually not the
yes.
lead lawyer that's doing the articling.
Oh
So
yes.
that
Absolutely.
staff. But then what do you
So
do with your talent if you can't get a job as a paralegal or a legal assistant and you've already studied law?
is the word pivot in your vocabulary? All
But
right.
yeah, that's a hard pivot, man.
Yeah. Fitness Camp says there's a full service Lawrence and Kingston. Which gas station in that area? Because I know that area. Is it
Lawrence
on? Is it on Kingston? Is it on Lawrence? I know that area, so I'd be interested. And she also says there's one in Pickering on Kingston by a church. Well, that don't tell us much. Kingston by a church. Thanks for the detailed description. But yeah, the lawyer thing quite interesting. Let's go further down here. Market research analyst. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are responsible for collecting data, identifying trends with that data. Oh yeah. Yeah. Those are things that we're now seeing AI. Yeah, that definitely I can see one of those things are going to be challenged by AI. But this one is interesting.
I'm struggling with that one. Teachers, because now we've seen the the experiment of like all online work teaching. I don't think the experiment went very well. So now, in what way are they seeing that AI is going to replace teachers? Because just a computer, even if it has all the information and can tell you the information, I don't think that covers everybody's learning styles. So if you're talking about a robot that might be coming into a classroom, knows all the info and can interact with people, I might be with you. But if we're just talking about online learning, I don't know.
that's an interesting one for myself, because for people
Mhm.
that don't know, my dad was a teacher in the same public school for over 30 years in the same
Ah,
classroom. To
yeah,
me, when it comes to especially our future, our young people, I think the human interaction is so important.
absolutely.
There are going to be some areas in the classroom. AI, how are you going to deal with it if you don't have that human touch,
Right.
right? I don't know. I can't see being as effective as if the human was there. And by the way, everyone, March break, how you enjoying it? For those who have the
Oh,
young people
yes.
and teachers, well, there's actually a number of stories. Just
Mm.
sideline, did you hear about the story over the weekend? There was an airline company who had to cancel some of their
Ooh,
flights
Flair
because
had
their
some
planes they couldn't pay for their planes.
repoed. Yeah, that.
What a and for
Uh,
those who watch the financial world, two banks in the United States going belly up.
yes,
Pay attention, like individuals like Ray and Fitnance. Two banks in the U.S. going
and
belly
not
up.
just any banks. So Silicon Valley Bank, which is like the tech sweetheart baby that was created because of the tech boom, and now that going belly up is really causing a domino effect of what other smaller banks, because they had close to two like 170 billion dollars under management. And then you ask the question, if they have 170 billion, where's the money? Money is not in the banks, people. They say they, no matter what you deposit, that money does not stay there, because as soon as people started withdrawing, and if enough people withdraw, they went into receivership, and it's an emotional snowball effect, because as people, and again, people are getting their Series A's and their funding, so millions of dollars are being put in that bank, and
We
then, oh, sorry.
Go on, keep on going.
Well, I was saying, so millions of dollars are getting put in there, and now only 250,000 is insured. So
No, but the,
imagine.
the government said that the
Hmm,
depositors can get all their money, not the two they're going past. But the
wow.
thing is, and again, the question would be, and we'll parking lot this and come back after the article
Yeah.
finishes, because I think that really have to talk about this, because it'll be interesting to see how the stock markets do today because of that news. But we'll
Right.
we'll we'll, we'll come back to it in just a minute. We'll finish up this article. Some more comments here from the family. Ray says we used to have a virtual accounting firm starting around 2019. Most of the communication was done via chat. Most of the accounting processes can be streamlined using technology.
Big
Are you
time.
still using them? Uh, Hayden says, "Good morning, Hayden. It is the beginning of the end of humanity as we've known it."
Thanks for the optimism, Hayden.
Uh, Ray says, "Ryan, perhaps the terminology can be better, quote, programmed, unquote, to deal with the different learning styles. It may be better than human interaction." Okay.
I
Tim
don't doubt that.
says,
Would love to see it.
"Pivot as prompt engineers. Look out for that course in post-school education. Keep in mind, AI does not mean no humans. We've had AI for a while." Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
Tim says artificial intelligence isn't just a robot. It's software also in products and services being delivered. And
Hmm.
Damian F. Alexander, haven't seen you before, but welcome. Haven't seen you come. Average deposit $2.5 million in that bank in
Wow.
Silicon. So they're going to get all their now. Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's get through this article. I think we've opened up a family chat, as we like to say, on the morning
Nice.
vibe. Finance jobs, financial analysts,
Speaking of which,
personal financial advisors. Like markets research analysts, financial analysts, personal financial advisors, and other jobs in personal finance that require manipulating significant amounts of numerical data can be affected by AI.
and this is where I don't like the finance world going too deep into AI, because we all, and not all of us, but I know when I go to the bank and the algorithm makes the decision, you don't have, and there's no wiggle room, even though your situation might show that you're not as high risk as you are on paper. When AI starts to make those decisions, maybe they can make better decisions than the current algorithms, but like Tim said, AI has been used that, I mean, what's it called? Your credit score
Yep.
is built through algorithms. And
Algorithms.
AI. So how's that been treating us? I know I'm not a fan.
Well, and it's interesting to, and actually, when Ray comes on Friday, I'd like to ask him, how much does he use AI in his services that he provides? Like to me, I'd still need that human touch, right? I still need that. AI can identify trends in the market, but then the other thing is numbers don't lie, right?
And Tim was saying becoming a prompt engineer. What happens when AI can prompt itself? And what is left for humans to do? What happens when AI can edit itself?
Also, too, based on this quote, AI can identify trends in the market, highlight what investments a portfolio are doing better and worse, communicate all that, and then use various other forms of data by, say, a financial company forecast. So next time Wayne Harris comes on, I'm going to ask him also,
Yes,
how
yes.
what is the impacts that artificial intelligence has on his business? Traders, yeah, makes sense. An investment bank, people are hired out of college and spend 2 or 3 years to work like robots and do Excel modeling. You can get AI to do that. Wow.
That's like the articling version of the trading industry could be totally wiped out.
And graphic designers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so this is where the debate is with images created by AI. Who owns that image, and where is that image? Where's the inspiration for that image coming from? So if those don't know, Getty Images is like the behemoth
Yes.
that tracks and owns
Yes.
the
Yes.
most
Yes.
images, and especially online. So I remember getting a email from them saying like, "Hey, one of our images is on your website.
Yes. You've
You
got to
owe us
take it.
$800."
Yes.
So
Yes.
now I think they're trying to figure out how do they prove that anything that's generated by AI is from their content, so that they can sue a lot of people. But
And just an FYI, people, many people I know, like the gentleman that's speaking with us right now with us, Ryan, be careful on the images you use on a website.
if you just Google something and pull that image, it's highly,
Read the information on that image saying,
yeah,
this image maybe copied. Go to
or
sites. There are a number of sites out there you can use generic images.
right, like royalty
Use your
free,
royalty free. So please
and you can use it for commercial purposes. You have to check for that.
there you go. There you go. So accountants. So I think based on what we said already here,
Mm.
this can happen.
And this has been a secret weapon for some accountants already. Like Tim said, AI has already been here. And I remember one of my accountants saying his program, it's like TurboTax. So
Yeah.
TurboTax,
TurboTax is AI. Yeah. It's a
that
form of
is
AI.
right. So now, and that's where TurboTax didn't really take over the market though. So what new could AI do that would eliminate more accountants? I don't know. I think explaining it still takes human interaction. It's like, so
You
yeah,
can't spend this money. Where are you going to get? I can just,
you
oh
are
boy.
broke. Stop spending money.
It reminds me many years ago. On YouTube, there's this Jamaican cartoon, and oh my gosh, it was.
Wow.
We got to show it one day. Well, we can't because it'll probably get blocked on YouTube. But it's just like that voice is just funny. Accountants,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and then customer service agents. Yeah, well, that's already there.
The chat bots are getting better
Yeah,
and better, but right, they're quite frustrating though. And the same thing with phone prompts. I'm very frustrated with calling. I'm just like, I just keep hitting zero. I'm like, yo, I need to talk to somebody, because sometimes the situation, that automatic thing will not understand what's going on.
like they
So
don't. Yeah, because you're an individual. Every story is
yeah,
different. This thing is
but it
generic.
does cover a big chunk. I won't say it's not like of use, but I don't see that fully taking over. But if it gets better, then it just needs to learn it, right? The AI
Yeah,
is always learning.
You've probably already experienced calling or chatting with a company's customer service and having a robot answer. ChatGPT and related technologies could continue. They are continuing that, Chen. That's what bots are, right?
Yep.
A 2020 study from research company Gartner predicted that chatbots will be the main customer service channel for roughly 25% of the companies by 2027. Yeah, I believe it.
That's awesome.
Even maybe even sooner. So that the article is called "Chat GPT may be coming for our jobs. Here are 10 roles that AI is most likely to
Most
replace." It is
likely.
on,
Okay.
yep, and that is on the Business Insider website. So we're gonna take that off, and we're gonna come back to us. So, and then Tim says, Ryan, cars are starting to drive themselves. Should we give up?
Well, we shouldn't plan to be Uber drivers because that is going to be eliminated. And again, I never said that AI is going to replace everything that humans do. But a lot of things that people are studying right now, that article is showing they should probably shift to something else. If you're planning to be an articler or finishing law school, and that entire section of you passing the bar, or you have to do articling, it's kind of like internship. If now lawyers don't need you to do that, how are you going to become a lawyer? So you have to shift to something else. But what do you shift to? That's where I think the conversation has to go to. Prompt engineer, sure, but there needs to be like, what is the bigger trend that we should be getting ahead of?
Nice. Okay. And Tim says we have to stop putting fear out there by using the phrase taking over.
But people need to be shocked into reality, because if you wake up one day and your boss, imagine you're putting out job applications and you're not aware that the job that you're applying for, the person, the employer, is now using AI to fill that role. You're in a different world. We have to let people know AI is not going anywhere. And Tim said it best at the symposium, that if we're not fully engaged in AI, we are going to get left behind. Like, it's not even a trend anymore. It is ingrained almost into most things that we do. And this article is showing it can replace those menial tasks. I would say those computer type, those grind jobs like market analyst, trading, Excel modeling, simple tax, somewhat teaching. I have to see how AI will take over teaching, but these things are here to stay. I don't see AI, it's not like something that's going to just fall off. So if we're not letting people know, start thinking about how to shift.
Yeah, like a number of us are left behind because of the pandemic. This is now going to be part 2, right? So
Yes.
people ask questions about it. Go online, go to ChatGPT and put, what is the impact of AI?
Right.
Use it. There's a way you can use it
Yes.
right there. I think that's really, really important that you take the time to take a look at it, find out what it's all about. Get back to the whole crisis in the U.S. for potential. But hold on, Tim says, I have needed 2 law firms that we to build their law firm app software as part of their business model.
And so the question would be,
Absolutely,
how many people do they need to hire now? So we have to stop thinking of AI replacing current jobs. It's actually going to downsize in the future. So if a company is growing and they might have to hire 100 people, instead, they're only going to hire 10 people. So what happens to those 90 people? That law firm that just created that app, how many other lawyers is that going to displace? People have to be aware of what's happening around them. And there was a gentleman that used a very interesting analogy. His name is Walter. And I don't know if you ever seen the TV show The Scorpion, but it was based on him, like a high IQ problem solver. He said when the car came out, the horses became irrelevant. AI is gonna it's gonna be similar to now humans becoming like the horse, because nobody talks about what happened to all the horses that used to be around. If there used to be, I think he said it was 10 million, now there's only 4 million, because their role was irrelevant. We have to look at how are we becoming irrelevant in certain aspects of what we do because of AI. And now those people, and here this brings up the conversation, do we need this universal income? Do we need, because
Yeah,
there's
more and
not
more people are being displaced. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
like
That's what,
these are serious conversations that government are having.
right. That's very important. Hayden is saying, where does the reality and end and fear start? AI will be replacing people. That's just the facts. Yeah, that at the end of the day, that's true. And Damien says, I think people need to be aware, but the fear tactics like quote taking over unquote is the issue. Well, and it's interesting, and we're jumping around into different issues, but even the economy right now. So I don't know how much people are plugged in with what's going on in the economy, but one of the things, according to the Bank of Canada, well, especially the federal bank in the U.S., in order for the inflation to go down, people have to lose their jobs.
Oh wow.
Okay, so and now here's, and this is what's big. This is what they're saying.
Okay.
The Fed in the U.S. and the Bank of Canada, because when jobs go up and up and up, that means they say, oh, well, more people are working. That means more people are spending. More people are spending over less amount of goods that are available. It's going to drive prices to go up.
Interesting. Wow.
So again, I'm plugged into this stuff a lot now. I listen for jobs report.
Okay, right.
So basically, the thought process of people with the high level of like Bank of Canada, U.S. Fed is that they want to see a reduction of job creation.
Whoa. But, how do you trigger that? Like, isn't that something that's organic? Like,
right? So you would think with more people getting jobs is good, but no,
right.
It does. Their thought process, oh, that means more people are spending. More people that are spending means more people buying, less availability. It drives the prices up because of scarcity. And we want to get into last week. The CEOs of some of Canada's biggest food companies were testifying at the House of Commons about, because the government wants to know, how come your prices are going so far ahead of the annual inflation rate, and they're making bigger profits than ever before.
Yeah.
Right?
They're trying to say because they're selling clothes.
So basically, family, this is when I was listening, I'm going, and my dad and I were talking, like we were talking yesterday, and he said, no, you are really observing. He says this thing about people, they need to see unemployment get higher for the inflation rate to get lower.
And this is where no politician would get behind that, because that's like a death sentence. Because that report of creating jobs is what they do to show, like, hey, see, we're making progress. We're doing, look at the jobs that we've created. And if that goes away and we start losing jobs, even though that actually helps the economy, it's hard to spin that into a positive news. That I don't know how they would spin that.
You notice that no politician is saying that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't. Like, how could you as a politician say we actually need to reduce that? Oh man, that just sounds so backwards. That's tough.
And so, it's just really interesting. I'm just trying to look up here. Okay, here it is. Here's an article here this is from actually 3 days ago. Okay, this is from the Business Insider again. I'm going to show this. So people say, Dr. Vibe's talking smack. Not talking smack and not talking garbage. I'm going to show you this article. Okay. Here's the article. The Fed wants higher unemployment because it would bring down inflation.
Wow. Like, Trudeau, how are you going to spin that one? Premier
so
Ford.
That's in the U.S. That's in the U.S. So
Okay,
Canada. Well, but
man.
Canada's now that's interesting. The Bank of Canada last week held interest rates flat,
Right.
but that
Just
doesn't
stayed.
mean it's going to be a long. But yeah, yeah. You see that? If the reading is too hot, the Fed's going to have even more ammunition to push interest rates higher in the coming months. And every
Oh,
move higher tightens the screws on the economy even more, ramping up the risk of a recession. So the Fed, US Fed, wants higher unemployment because it
man.
would bring down inflation.
So it makes you ask the question, if in the past inflation had started to creep up, are there mechanisms to trigger unemployment to go up,
What
to
one
combat
of the
it? And
things that
what did they used to do?
one of the things that this shows you that capitalism is a screw up. True cap no, but no, really. True
It,
capitalism is based on greed.
right, 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 right.
So true capitalism is, in my opinion, not a good thing. True
Man,
capitalism is not a good thing. But when I started hearing this a few months ago, that don't make sense. Like people got to suffer
right.
for the economy to go ahead. I was always thinking when more people got jobs, it was good.
Same,
No,
man.
no, no. Tim Frey says they only have okay. So says they only have 3 lawyers in their firm and will need to have a staff over 10 to run their software because they can take on more clients. So there's where an AI comes in, save on labor.
Yeah, and I wonder, Tim, are those staff lawyers, or are they just software engineers?
So Hayden says the other option to limiting inflation is to limit the profiteering of multinationals. That's the other option. It's never discussed. And you notice they can't government either can't or won't do that. But government doesn't have the power to do that because we are in a capitalist society. We are not in a democracy because
Uh,
who see, and this is a funny thing. When you have elections, a lot of the time, who provides a lot of financing for a lot of people that are elected?
the businesses.
Business.
Yeah,
So after that person gets elected, they got to go to the person who funded the campaign and say, "How can I help you? Because you helped me."
that's who runs the economy: businesses and landowners. So if
Right?
you're neither, you got to shift.
Oh, here's another interesting thing that's going on in the US, and I'm sure it's going to happen here in Canada. More and more companies are buying houses.
Companies are buying houses.
Companies are buying houses.
Oh, oh boy,
Here's
that.
another here's another one of my favorite things.
Mm,
Educational institutions. You see
mm,
how much land they have?
okay.
Like where I went to school, when I went back there a few years ago, oh, so this is where my money went. It's like 5 times the size it was.
Ah, right. I know one of my old schools turned into a condo. So Ancaster at Keelan Wilson, they just tore it down and then used the land, repurposed it.
So I'd like to know who owns that land.
Right, right.
Maybe the school.
True. And they sell it to developers?
There you go. But yes, that's a trend in the United States. Maybe we can ask Ray that on Friday. But I'm hearing more and more companies are buying in mass quantities, buying homes,
Whoa. And
and then
they
and
can
you have to say,
outbid you.
and then then they sell them back or rent them to you. Companies, not individuals. But it only makes sense because less and less people can afford a home now.
Absolutely. But you see that, because that causes prices to go up now. And then when regular folk, we try to go buy those houses, the prices are higher. Or you're bidding against a company that has way more resources than you. It seems like we're going backwards in
Oh
this
yeah,
housing.
oh yeah. Well, I just was at a reading and listening recently that in Toronto, where Greater Toronto, where myself and Ryan are based, it's $2,000 a month to rent.
Man, that is, and that's probably not for anything substantial.
Well, okay, and thanks Ray for answering this. Yes, Ray says yes, and we have been mirroring what those companies are doing to scale our portfolio. So there you go. There's someone
Oh,
in the industry saying that companies are buying homes.
gotcha. I believe it.
Companies are buying homes. So I'm glad. Thank you, Ray, for backing up what I just said. Yeah, companies are buying homes. But I still like for the economy to get better, family, people got to lose their jobs.
Well, that's where, and hey, imagine the algorithm shows you that. This is
Yep.
what AI is very cut and dry. There won't be, they'll just be like, nope, this is the only way to fix the economy. So
And a
if they're
lot of
coming up with
times,
stuff like that,
and also too, a lot of times when jobs have to be got rid of, a number of those people look like you and I, Ryan.
right. And it's a lot of the frontline type workers.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. So it just verifies my statement. The more I know, the less I understand.
I'm with you.
That is crazy. So what is up for the rest of this week other than opening up new offices?
Yeah. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we are having our Durham Business Hub, so our Ajax office for ACBN, the Afro Caribbean Business Network. Yeah. Other than that, the week we had on Saturday our youth entrepreneurship program. It's our final day, so they're going to be presenting their businesses. That's the program we do in partnership with Delta Family Resource Center. So shout out to those students and about 15 new businesses ready to
Wow.
launch. And yeah, rest of the week again, this
Yeah, March break.
pockets. Yeah, so we have to figure out some stuff to do with the kids. Pockets of relaxation thanks to AI. So I'm gonna learn some more stuff so I can be more effective. How about you? How's the week looking?
Uh First of all, I got to go out and shovel more snow.
Yes, the joys. It came down
Yes.
again. Not
So
as
more,
heavy. So
not as heavy. So more snow. So
yes.
got to get out there and get that done. I have a few meetings, a few things to get done, but it's somewhat of a quiet week, somewhat for me, somewhat dealing a lot with staffing and onboarding. So there you go. Ray says humanity has developed as a result of revolution, starting with the Industrial Revolution. This is the AI revolution. We will survive. Pivoting is crucial. So, very interesting. Pivoting was crucial during the pandemic. It's now crucial again. And again, as Robert Smith said during and if you don't know who Robert Smith is, he is actually the wealthiest African American living in America, or Black American living in America right now. I think his worth is something like at least $5 billion. He said during the pandemic, don't waste the crisis. So that is what I'm throwing out to everyone who's watching this live on the replay today. Don't waste the crisis. You know, you're keeping plugged in. Now, most people have one of these. The only thing that's stopping you not finding out what's going on is not using it.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't have to go to a library. You don't have to even leave your home. You can just do it. You can have it there. So Divine Right says it's happening here in the DMV area, but instead they are buying houses that are older and not too far from me. They bought a group of houses that were next door to each other and tearing them down. So this is a company that's doing
Oh,
this.
gotcha.
Right? And they are building condos, high-end apartments, or bigger single-family homes. So is it a developer that's doing that, Divine Right, or is it a company? I'd be very interested. Very, very interested. And Christopher Lawrence, good morning. Just tuning in now. Good. I know you got your network mixer coming up this week, so good for you. But yeah, it's I'm getting more. And see, this is one of the things I do now since I'm getting back time. I'm getting a better understanding what's going on financially out there.
Right.
And again, with these two banks going belly up in the U.S. over the weekend, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that because that
and
I think is gonna cause
that's a ripple. There's definitely a potential ripple effect happening with that. And then, how you said, yeah, they're going to get their 250,000 back. in the Silicon Valley Bank. No, the government's guaranteeing all they can get all their money. Now, my question would be,
Whoa.
would they say the same thing to people like you and I?
Well, I'm curious how many black-owned banks in the U.S. got government bailouts when they went into receivership, because that's what it sounds like they're doing for Silicon Valley Bank.
And I think if I understand, and I may be wrong here, but see, when the government in a situation that the government has a choice of either saving the bank or saving the creditors, or the depositors.
Oh,
And so they had a choice, and they said they're going to guarantee the depositors up to a certain extent, but they usually $250,000. Yeah, you were right there, but I've heard now no that, and I guess my question would be, if there was a black bank and there were people who had millions of dollars, would they still get rid of that 250 cap?
We could probably dig into that research and see it.
Would they get rid of that? Is melanation having part of that decision, or the influence that those depositors have, saying, could you imagine them saying, no, I want all my money back, not $250,000?
We're talking millions of dollars. That is heavy lobbying. People would not let that go lightly,
right?
Because the names of who banks there has not really come out yet.
Yes.
So we don't know whose money we're talking about.
Right. Macmillan Ray goes, we have to stop looking on and get involved in the process. Gentrification is real. It's very real and will never stop. If you can't go alone, partner up. Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's not just we're talking homes and land, period. Partner up. Yeah. Divine Right says, agreed, Ray. And Ray says, there are only 20 black-owned banks in the U.S., and they're quite small, so their exposure is significantly reduced. So how do I feel that one of those black banks are going to have a bunch of people going in wanting to take their money out?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it'll have that far of a ripple effect. Because remember, Silicon Valley Bank invested their funds differently than traditional banks, because they had such a big influx of tech dollars and it was coming in. I mean, the party has been riding since at least up to 2020. So they had a lot of depositors, but this is what I read. They invested in more long-term bonds. So now, because they're in long-term bonds, they're not as liquid. So when people the deposits are coming in now, and the pandemic's hitting, people are spending more money, wanting to withdraw more. It got to the point where too many people were withdrawing. They had to sell some of their bonds. And when they sold the bonds, that triggered people thinking, they don't have money in the bank. So the word started to get out that, it might be good to withdraw your money right now, because if they're selling their bonds, they have a cash flow crunch. And I mean, if you've seen that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, where everybody charges the bank, and it's like they have to close up shop. So
yeah,
in real time that happened. It's enough people said, I need my money out. And remember, average bank accounts had 2.5 million. So imagine 2 million at a time is being transferred out. I don't even know how to go to the bank and get 10,000. So they won't give it to you. So I don't know how you transfer millions.
Well, you know what? And yeah, that's a good question, and brings up, and then for those people, especially who are business people here, do you have a good relationship with your bank?
Try to go to the bank and take out cash. It is near impossible. They'll look at you like
depends how much. For me, it's not difficult.
Okay, ours, the one I was at, they said max 3,000. Yeah. And after 3,000,
yeah,
you have to order it.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
Though tens of thousands of dollars could be sitting there.
Yep,
you cannot withdraw it.
Yep. But again, that's another reason why you have a good especially if you're a business person. Mm-hmm. You need to have a good relationship with your bank. Let me put it this way. I highly suggest you have a good relationship with your bank.
I would say it's mandatory. They need to.
I'm going to suggest. I don't tell.
You should have a business advisor
I suggest. Like for me, there at least every minimum every 2 weeks I go into my bank to do.
Okay, gotcha.
And even if I go into the machine, sometimes I'll just go in there and I'll just see if my advisor's available, and I will say hi to her.
Right, right.
Right. And I've got a good relationship with a lot of the customer service staff. Right. Actually, it was about 4 or 5 months ago. I was dealing with a teller, young black gentleman, said, "Hey, do you know you get this, and this?" And I had no idea. And
Nice, nice.
it helped move ahead my business.
You see? So that
So,
relationship is key.
and every time I see him, I say, "Thanks again." He goes, "That's how you doing? Are you okay?" Etc. This is just a customer service person, and there's a lady who handles my business transactions there. Always make sure she's doing okay. Like a few weeks ago, I was picking up some food at a place, and she was walking out from having dinner. Just, "Hey, how are you? How are you?" And so
Nice.
relationships are really, really, really key. So Hayden says, "True that, Ray. I'm trying to do his part." That was in regards to getting educated and get involved. Divine Right. I don't know what quote it was, but I'm glad I said something of value. And time never lost a fight. Yep. And she's gonna do some research on who bought all those houses and turned them down.
Right, yes.
And Tim goes, some of the SVB businesses digitally transferred out their money.
Yeah. And I
Silicon
heard that
Valley.
some they got caught because the wires take time and the bank actually closed while wires were so they had to figure out, a
Wow.
lot, man. I'm
It's a
seeing
whole
it's a
game.
wild world, that
It's
finance industry. Because over the weekend, like the treasury department, she comes online today to talk about, oh, we've been working on creating policies to figure out how to deal with. Yeah, it's a
those
whole
should already be in place. Thank you very much. You should be on the offensive, not the defensive.
nah, man. This is
Okay.
new.
So Ray says, see, this is why we have such an intelligent family here. Ray says business transactions are mostly done by wire transfers for larger transactions. Cash transactions for amounts over $1,000 are quite infrequent. Quote, hashtag former banker. And he was a former banker, so you should know.
Yes.
And Roger says, welcome, Roger, as always, the Dundas family. Coming back to human jobs, we are short construction and hospitality people. Yes.
Hey, the article didn't
Yes.
say those are getting replaced because
Yes.
that's difficult.
And you know what? The way that the marketplace is going, that's where a lot of people are going to have to end up going to.
Right. And we need nurses too. I'll add that. Construction,
Yes.
hospitality, and a big nursing gap.
Absolutely. Divine Right says, I believe one is here in the DMV area. My church works with them in Industrial Bank. Yeah, the second bank that's got in trouble in the US is Signature Bank. And I actually have traveled in States and I've seen Signature Bank. So when they said, they go, wow. And Ray says there is a Canadian company buying tens of thousands of single family homes across several US cities. Hello.
Wow.
Again, this is why we got people on the inside, man. We got insiders. Roger says AI cannot replace construction and trade jobs. Yep. Like it or not. And we know construction is only continuing. It's only continuing, and trade not going away. But I like that a Canadian company buying tens of thousands single family homes across several US cities. Oh, so America, you don't have to worry. You don't have to. No, you don't. You not only have to worry about China. Canada's coming after you too.
Right.
Canada's going to come after you. So Ryan, before we leave, question: will the Canadian and American government ban TikTok on consumer phones before the end of the year, in your opinion?
Before the end of the year, I don't see that happening, but I would not be shocked if it did happen because they already started banning it on government phones.
Yes, even in the Ontario government now they're banning it, and even like
there.
So it's getting closer and closer.
Yeah,
Closer
I wouldn't
and
be
closer.
shocked. I doubt it. That would cause like a civil war, man. People are so locked into their phones. It would really rock the boat. But hopefully that people are paying attention, because why is it being banned on government devices is the question that we should be asking before we started scrolling through mindlessly on TikTok. But Instagram does the same thing. So Instagram should get banned. Well, I guess Instagram's not owned by China, but
There, and I wonder, especially in the
uh,
politicking that's going on in the States, I wonder, you notice that Google and Meta are saying nothing about this. They're just keeping very quiet. And
oh, right.
I wonder if they're, again, follow the money. I wonder if there's any politicking back room about
Oh, the
Google.
lobbying, I'm sure, is heavy. I'm quite positive they're telling the doom and gloom stories.
Yeah, but even though it's gonna, it's used on their platform. But again, I just go, I would love to hear the back channel, what's going on, and all that, all those things, right? Ray says here, invest in their shares and benefit from what is happening. Passive real estate, yeah.
Okay,
Invest in these
nice.
companies; they're doing it.
Yeah.
At least get some benefit out of it.
Right, right.
All right, we are done for today. So we chatted about chat, GPT, and AI. We talked about,
Mm.
for the economy to get better, people got to lose their jobs.
It's just wild.
That,
Who's running the ship, man?
well, a very
It
small
seems like
amount
they're
of
just
people are.
random.
A
Yeah.
very small amount of people are. That's what it really gets down to. You know, we so when people say we live in a democracy, laugh at them. Just my opinion. Very, very few people.
True.
But yeah, so I hope, family, that you don't lose. If you have a job, take a look and see where the future is of it, because it may vanish in front of your eyes.
Yeah. Pay attention.
Pay attention. Come on here. We've got a lot of people who are at least smarter than me. I don't know if they're smarter than Ryan, but are smarter than me, who
Right.
have the inside track on what's not only going on now, but have a good lens on what's going on in the future. So, family, that's it for today. We chopped it up. As I said, we have Ray McMillan coming on Friday, and we got a number of questions we need to ask Ray. I know he has probably have a subject to talk about, but we want you to have a great week. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and like it on Facebook or wherever you're watching it. Especially if you like it on YouTube, not only hit like, but no, subscribe, but also the notifications.
Yes.
And you can watch replays of this conversation. That's what we call it, on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. And congratulations, Ryan, on the organization finally opening something up in the Durham region.
Hey, it only took 5 years, but we're
Ah!
here.
well, plus we had to get you on the East Coast too.
Yes, true. That
Right,
helps.
to see that and say, and Brian says, yeah, there are Black people here,
Right.
not just in Brampton. And we can't forget Ms. Charmaine Hussey. Thank
Good day,
you,
Charmaine.
Charmaine Hussey, for coming in and making the conversation better. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you on Friday with Ray McMillan. Oh, and just a program alert. This coming Sunday on Black Canada Talking, Perry Douglas is going to be
All right.
on, talking about his first book.
It's launched?
It's going to be launching the next few weeks.
Okay.
I think it's actually going to be launched by the end of this week. So, program alert. That's another reason why you need to subscribe, because that's going to be a fire conversation, because Perry was one of the people that took the Morning Vibe to the next level.
Solid. Looking forward to that.
All right. Take care, everybody. Be well.